Mornings with Megan. My name is Megan Wysock, Assistant Director of Admissions here at Thaddeus College of Technology. Mornings with Megan is a short segmented series where we highlight one of our offices on campus and get questions answered. Today, our focus is financial aid. My guest, none other than our amazing Director of Financial Aid, Miss Emily Smoker. Emily, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Megan. Happy to be here.
So we're going to get right into these questions. First question I have for you, Emily. Pretty simple. Let's get to the basics. What's the first step in the financial aid process?
So, Megan, the first step in the financial aid process is to complete the free application for federal student aid, which is otherwise known as the FAFSA. So students complete this application online on the website, studentaid.gov, and then from there we receive that information.
Fantastic. The starting gate to all aid, the FAFSA.
Yes.
Next question I have, Emily, is what is the timeline to apply for financial aid?
So the FAFSA application opens on October 1st of the year prior to when you're starting. So for example, the 2021-2022 FAFSA opened October 1st of 2020, and it will be available for students to complete at this point if you want to get started and take care of that now.
Kind of a sidebar there. What happens if it's a little bit later in the year? It's summertime. I completely forgot to do the FAFSA. What advice do you have?
Still complete the FAFSA. It's okay that it's late. While we might have some additional funding that might not be available at that time if it's late, we always recommend for students to complete the FAFSA at any point. As I mentioned, we are here to help you. So make sure that you complete your FAFSA. If you're having trouble completing it or you're just not quite sure what you're doing, let us know and we can help you do it. If it's after our preferred deadline, which is April 1st, you can still complete it. So just keep that in mind.
Common question I hear, especially working with students in admissions, I don't think I'm going to get any financial aid. Should I still apply?
Yes. While the FAFSA is not required, we do recommend that all students complete this FAFSA. Some students submit it in the beginning, not knowing what they're eligible for, what they might not be eligible for. With the FAFSA, you could potentially be eligible for free money, also known as grants, or you might be eligible for loans. Loans are still a part of financial aid, so we do always recommend that if you need additional assistance, while you might not be eligible for any grant money, you might still be eligible for some loans. So yes, we do recommend that every student complete the FAFSA.
Wonderful. Doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
So I understand that there are a bunch of different aids available, but does the college offer any institutional aid?
Yes, we do. We have foundation scholarships that we have available as well. Those scholarships become available starting in February. We'll have the application on our website. So if you're just on the financial aid page of our website, you'll see the application for foundation scholarships. And the nice thing is that it's one application. So students complete one application, and from there, we match the student based on the criteria of the scholarship and what they're putting in that application. So we usually let students know, usually around June, because the application for the scholarships closes at the end of May. So you'll complete your application by May 30, I think it's 28th or 29th this year, that last Friday. So you'll complete that application. We'll review everybody and match them for the scholarships. So by the end of June, you should have a good idea if you receive the scholarship.
Here's an excellent question. I'm a veteran, so who may I contact to assist in using my benefits or giving my benefits to a dependent?
Sure. So you would contact me. I am the certifying official for Veterans Affairs. So you would contact me, and if you are the veteran, you would submit to me a copy of your certificate of eligibility, as well as your member for DD 214. And if you have questions on where to get that information or you're not quite sure from the VA website, I can let you know where you can find it.
Another question I feel like we get a lot. I'm the first in my family to go to college, never done the FAFSA before, haven't heard of these crazy letters that make up a word. So how can I get started, and what should I do if I need help?
So we do have a lot of acronyms that we use in the financial aid office, so I will start off by saying that. However, we are here to help you. That is our number one job, is to help you, the student and the parent, to make sure that you're comfortable in completing the application. So we always say that we are there. We can set up an appointment. We can certainly do a Zoom session or help you over the phone. When we are on campus, again, hopefully we'll be able to meet you in person and help you complete the FAFSA that way. So don't be afraid to reach out, because we are there to help you. You're the first in your family to attend school, and we understand that it's a scary process and there's a lot of information and a lot of things that go back and forth between our offices. So I would say, just keep an eye out for any financial aid documents and emails that come to you, and know that financial aid is not something to be afraid of, but something that you can always ask questions about.
Fantastic. If you watched our admissions mornings with Megan, we really stress checking the email. It's just as important to keep monitoring that email for financial aid.
Agreed.
One of my favorite things about working at the college probably has to be our Stevens Grant. What exactly is the Stevens Grant, and how can students apply for it?
So the Stevens Grant is actually not something that you have to do a separate application for. By completing your FAFSA, we determine if you're eligible to receive the federal Pell Grant. And if you're eligible for the federal Pell Grant, that means that you're going to be eligible for our Stevens Grant. So that Stevens Grant can help cover the costs outside of what your tuition, room and board, and also your books and tools. So we take your application for the FAFSA, see what you're eligible to receive, and then we help you to cover some of those costs through the Stevens Grant.
So kind of on the flip side now, I already submitted my FAFSA, but I haven't heard what I qualify for. When am I going to hear what I've received or qualified for?
Sure. So for a student who's just coming into our college, we wait for the students to be accepted before we offer their financial aid. So for instance, next year's students, offers are starting to go out now for the 2021-2022 academic year. So we'll be loading the FAFSA information soon, within the next week or so. So once we load that information, we can then tell you what we're able to view on our side. And from there, we can tell you if there's any additional documentation that we might need in order to package your financial aid. So I would expect something within the next few weeks, but just know it does take a little bit of time for us to have the information in and process and review everything for you. And then I would also say that you can actually view the outcome of your FAFSA. That information is known as a student aid report. And that student aid report, or SAR, S-A-R, it does get emailed to you after you complete the FAFSA with the email address that you use. So I would definitely say to check that out, because that's going to tell you if you qualify for grant money or loan money just based off of the FAFSA information that you provided. And then once we view that information, we can let you know if there's anything different or in addition to what they said from the original FAFSA.
Fantastic. I just learned something. That's wonderful.
Great.
Another great question. Student loan debt is a huge topic right now. So will a student have to take out a loan to attend? And if so, what is the average student loan debt amount for a Thaddeus Stevens grad?
Sure. So you may. That may be the case for some of our students, where you would have to submit your FAFSA, you get some loan money, you get some grant money, but maybe you need a little bit extra, and that's okay. Our average student loan debt for the class of 2019 was $10,120. So as you can see, that's extremely affordable. And the nice thing too is that the loan servicers offer a multitude of payment plans to help you once you graduate. So while that might seem like a lot of money up front for attending 2 years, that's really not a bad student loan debt to have.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
A very manageable amount of debt.
Correct.
Last question I have for you, Emily. What is the best way to reach out to the financial aid office if I do have a question?
Sure. So the best way to contact us right now, because we are working remotely more often than not, is to contact our email. We have a joint email box, which is financialaid@stevenscollege.edu. Or you can also call us and either leave us a message, and if we're in the office, we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. And our phone number is 717-391-3510. That is our office number. And either through email or phone, you'd be able to reach us. It would be myself or my assistant director, Giselle Bermudez, and we're both able to answer any questions that you might have.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Mornings with Megan. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining us. And don't forget to tune in next time where we are going to focus and highlight academics at Thaddeus Stevens College. Have a great day.
Thank you, Megan. Have a great day.